So hey guys, today I am going to recap the Frog Korean drama series, which is a horror thriller, mysterious drama released recently on Netflix. And it has also got an out-of-the-team rating so far. In this story, we get to see the stories of two families. Both were involved in the rental house business. Everything was going well, but suddenly the same psychopath enters their guest house, after which the life of everyone from children to old people becomes completely upheaval. To know what the whole matter is, you must watch this story till the end because this story is going to be very interesting. So the story starts from a dense forest where something went wrong. But the question was, that if a tree fell in such a dense forest and there was no one to hear its sound, then was there any sound of the falling tree? Or was there silence? That is, if some incident happened in the forest and no one saw it, then did that incident happen? Or perhaps it was merely an illusion. There's no need to worry. You'll eventually figure out what I mean. Next, the scene shifts to an elderly man named Shri Yog, who used to operate a dental property nestled deep within a dense forest. Because it was situated so far from the city, only a few guests would visit this. The story then shows the police arriving at the Blue House police station, where the entire station appeared to be deserted. At this point, a police officer arrives, and just as the man is about to speak, the officer's girlfriend calls him. He answers the call and begins to converse with her, saying that, "Darling, I am absolutely free. Only a woman came to lodge a complaint," and then he notices that the woman has left. Looking at her box, it becomes clear that she was not just an ordinary woman, but a senior police officer who was about to resume her duty from the next day. Her first year on the force started back in 2001. Now, the story transitions to the year 2001. There was a young man named Sandroom who used to run a motel called Blue Motel, located far away from the bustling city. His wife was a great help to him in managing this business, and she used to support Johnny Russ in this endeavor. In addition to this, Sandroom had a friend named Jong who always wore a ponytail. Jong was a complete loser, but during times of need, he used to support Sendu, who was both his mother and his son. She preferred Samdum over her husband because he was extremely hardworking. He often gave them gifts from the tower. Today, the Sand Blue Motel celebrated its 3rd anniversary, and its business was thriving more each day. He always took excellent care of his guests. While presenting gifts from the tower to his guests, he would encourage them to recommend their hotel to friends and family. As the president, Yog was responsible for sending the hotel's clothes and other items to the laundry. Now on the way, he sees a stationary car. Inside is a beautiful lady named Snuda, accompanied by her son. She needs help with her car, and he assists her. Afterward, Loma leaves. Later, when he returns to his motel, he notices that Snuda and her son have arrived there as well. They are in his lobby, and Yog is showing them the hotel. It turns out that the air conditioning at Che's guest house had broken down, so they came to Yog's hotel. Seeing this, Yog mentions that he will get the swimming pool ready soon, but he also said that he should arrange for the water. She is extremely scared of Yog, so she avoids going to the swimming pool. However, her son Hele absolutely loves the swimming pool and has a great time playing with Yog. While they are playing, Hele even chases Yog away from the water gate. Yog was an incredibly adorable child, so I gave him a towel to ensure his health doesn't deteriorate. He then asks me to take him to his mom. The scene transitions to a nearby area where it is also raining heavily. A man named Keval had run out of fuel, so he parked his car near Sengrin's hotel and began to contemplate his action. Then Rangoon's eyes fall on him, so he goes and talks to Kiwal, asking him to spend the night in his motel, for which Chori also agrees. It rains the entire night, and Chori comes to the center to enjoy the rain. Yog and Chai drink alcohol together and fall asleep. The next morning, Chai sleeps in late, while Yog wakes up a little earlier, and he decides to go to the supermarket to buy everything they need. Then he receives a call from his daughter, who tells him she is coming to meet him next week. Additionally, she gives him permission to bring one of her male friends along. Yog agrees after thinking for a while, not realizing she meant she would bring the print with her. Later, as he's coming home from the supermarket, he sees Ganga removing the print, quietly returns to his hotel, and finds his loan papers in an envelope with water running from the tap. He closes the tap and starts to leave, but then notices blood on his hand, which scares him. He checks the tap and finds real blood. The scene then shifts to the side. He had fallen asleep at the central reception until late last night. In the morning, his waiter suggested that he should go home and take some rest, assuring him that he would handle everything there. On the other hand, today was the first day of the new job together. He received a call in which a person asked when the opinion had been given. Not ignoring anything, he promptly reached the house from where the call had originated, along with his colleagues. The police were slow to arrive in the area, so they decided to check quickly. They soon discovered that the police had already arrived at Sanjan's motel. Media people have also arrived, and the police are stopping them from going inside by putting up barricades. Some policemen are saying that he is a serial killer and that he has murdered someone. Can you tell me at what time he left from there? On hearing this, pictures of the entire incident start forming in their minds. In fact, when Anger fell asleep at the reception at night, Joel came out of his room and went to his car. Yes, he had kept a girl unconscious in his car. Then he brought that girl to his room. After doing bad things with her, cut her into pieces. In reality, Sandu goes there initially and is shocked to witness the scene because the thieves had brutally attacked the girl. The whole white bed had turned bright red. The police quickly take Sam out of there because this scene could have been extremely traumatic to witness. In the present, he goes back to catch the sex needles. But due to his attention being distracted, his car ends up in an accident. In the car that Yoni's car was about to collide with, there is none other than Millie, whom she sees in Yog's hands. She feels that this call has just been made, so she takes the cotton from him to clean it thoroughly today. By looking at his card, he realizes that he is indeed the same police officer. For once, it crosses his mind to tell Jonna about her room, but then he becomes silent out of fear. He returns home and carefully inspects the room in which Sang was staying. He discovers a blatant case from that room, indicating she had cleaned it very thoroughly. Even if he informs the police now, it will be of no use. After this, he checks the camera in his car, where he finds the video. It is observed that she left from here alone, which makes Yonga ponder if he is experiencing an illusion. This Yonga had arrived with his daughter, so he reviews the old video. In the video, he sees a sexual act, which implies that Yonga killed her son, placed his dead body in her bag, and then departed from here. Thinking about all of this, Yog's mind is going crazy, trying to understand how a mother could take her own son's life. He dials the number to inform the police, but then he gets scared, considering the possible consequences. If the news spreads that someone has been murdered in that motel, people will stop coming there. So Yog decides to forget about this incident, convincing himself that it must be his misconception. He cleans the entire motel thoroughly to ensure that no evidence of the murder remains. In the past, Hina had caught the police. This action made life miserable for her and her family. 6 months after the incident, Sangdun stayed there, but people not only stopped coming to his hotel, but also started bidding on him, due to which Sangdun gives up and decides to sell the hotel, which also starts a problem between the husband and wife because their son is gay and is about to go to middle school, and they do not have any source of income. If this continues, then they will be on the road. Whoever feels bad after listening to this tune starts getting into a problem with Sangdun, that whatever happened was not Sangdun's fault. But this thing, he cannot tolerate that Jong is speaking to his vapor in a loud voice, so he raises his hand towards the cigarette. Then, Jong's mother intervenes and stops the fight between the two. Jong's mother is filled with anger in her heart, and she vents her anger by breaking the vapor's belongings. But in the process, her hand gets injured. To manage the household expenses, Sandu's vapor starts working at a restaurant. However, due to the immense tension, she begins stealing liquor from the restaurant. One day, the restaurant owner catches her in the act of stealing. She continues to work alone at the restaurant. She takes me there and tells many people that I don't like you at all. Your husband is a good man. That's why I am not firing you from the job. This enrages Yog, and she starts saying that you are definitely having an affair with my husband. After this, the girl shifts to the present. More than a year had passed since that incident. Yog had moved on, forgetting that incident. Today, his daughter was about to come with her in-laws. But before that, Saranga comes back. Yog is stunned to see her. He had no idea about the thing that was going to happen. Forgetting him as he has moved ahead, she comes back and stands in front of him again, saying that she wants a room here. The young man clearly refuses, stating that his guests are arriving today. Then, his daughter and her family arrive, and she, pretending to be innocent, says in front of them, "Look, I haven't made any advance booking, and I need a room here for a week or two. But now it seems that I have to go back." Yog's daughter says that it is okay, and anyway, I will go back by night, so you can stay here for now. Yog is unable to say anything, so Shivam starts living there. The next day, Yog, feeling scared, teases her about the past, but she completely denies it. The last time she had come, she was saying that she was scared of water, but this time she was swimming in the pool like a mermaid. Yog is surprised by this. A year had passed in the past as well. Sandhu and his wife had started a business with a broker. They talk about selling the hotel. Now he was ready to sell the hotel, even at a low price. So he feels that now this deal will definitely happen. In this happiness, Pian comes home and feeds her husband and son a good meal. After this, he complains about his bad luck to Sandung, that he lost his legs in childhood. The uncle who took the responsibility of raising him was also addicted to gambling. He also ran away one day. Then I worked as a laborer in a construction set to earn my livelihood. However, because of this, I had to roam from one city to another. So I started working in a factory. But after a few days, the manager of that factory ran away after committing a fraud. I caught him and saved the company from a big loss. The head of the company was very happy with this and made me in charge. There, I met Yon, who worked as an assistant. I fell in love with her at first sight, and she liked me as well. Then I persuaded her by convincing her and Ansmet, and we got married, and then I bought that factory too. But then the country faced a financial crisis, and at that time, I sold the factory and started this motor business. There were so many ups and downs in my life, but I never lost courage. Whenever I felt that everything was over, God opened a new path for me. I hope the same happens this time too. Meanwhile, his son Hago steals many liquor bottles from his fridge and takes them to his school's bully gang. He had also ordered sleeping pills of Hago Source's mom, which he mixes with the alcohol and starts drinking, due to which the condition of a child worsens, due to which their secret is revealed. According to the police, he puts the blame on Heiko that he is the master man. He had made them run away to get drugs, after which the police comes to interrogate Heiko. But at that very moment, Heiko becomes unconscious because the police had first made Heiko drink a lot of alcohol, due to which his condition becomes so bad, he has to be taken to the hospital. After this incident, they come to know Bafang. It is said that a notorious gang was bullying his son. They threatened him, saying that if he didn't obey them, they would burn his hotel to the ground. When Sangaran found out about this, he attended the parent-teacher meeting in a furious mood and assaulted anyone who spoke against his son. The troubles of that day escalated even more because this incident was reported to the police. However, his mother, who knew the commissioner, managed to get Sandun released from custody. Further, Sandun comes to know that the relative of the person on whom she had raised her hand was going to buy her model. Now, to take revenge, he backed out from buying the model. The last hope of Sandun also breaks. At the same time, the thought of the unconscious woman was not able to come out of Sandun's mind. Whenever she went to that room for cleaning, her memories would get refreshed and she would get scared, just like the first time. Sandun was quite fed up with this. One day, she later apologizes to her family and expresses all her feelings. Then she takes her own life. In the following scene, Officer Samuel goes to the prison to confront the killer Chul and asks him, "What wrong did I and my family do to you? Why did you do this to us?" To this, Chul blames the Sagniram and responds, "It is not my fault. It is your fault. I was just on the road, and you approached me saying that you could spend the night in our motel. But whatever happened to your family was simply your fate. It was not my fault. When I have not done anything wrong, then why should I apologize to you?" After this, Sandhu realizes that he has become a media person. That is, if anyone throws a stone that hits the media, no one cares if the media person dies or gets hurt because of that stone. The poor media person, Kapil, curses his fate, thinking he had not done anything wrong. Then why did this happen to me? Why did someone throw a stone at me? Because his condition had also become exactly like that of the media. He starts keeping an eye on Sunga. One day she heads to the city, and he follows her. Yog's daughter and son-in-law worked nearby. They were doctors at a hospital, so he decides to visit them. However, when he returns, he notices that Sunga is now keeping an eye on Jonglos. This means she has discovered the workplace of Jonglo's children. Yug becomes extremely frightened by this revelation. He decides to confront her, which leads to a close call with an accident on the road. This incident causes his daughter and son-in-law to become very worried. Following this, Yog confides in his friend. He makes his way to the hospital to visit Chai. Actually, Chai was admitted to a nearby hospital because he had fractured his leg. During this visit, he intends to inform Chai that the last time Raju's woman came to his hotel, but since the AC wasn't working, he brought her over to his own hotel. That woman ended up killing her own son. However, people started to believe that this woman had been overhearing all their conversations. Suddenly, she attacked him on the stage and killed him. Because of this fear, he changes the topic and is unable to reveal the truth to Chai. Eventually, he goes back to his home and soon, Changa arrives as well. She has brought a large number of plants with her from the nursery. She acts as if nothing unusual had occurred. Additionally, she suggests having lunch together along with doing some yoga. Now, Yog thinks that this place knows everything about him, but he doesn't know anything about her. So he starts keeping an eye on her to learn more about her. He tries to check her laptop, which has a game in her name. However, since it's password protected, he takes it and runs away with it, intending to get the password cracked and extract her information. She smiles as she watches him leave with her laptop. At the computer store, Yog learns that in order to remove the password, the laptop must first be formatted. This process will delete all its data. Knowing this, Yog takes the laptop back home, but he discovers that his entire house is now filled with plants. Yog has also created many paintings and has thrown them into the swimming pool. The next day, she does even more. She calls someone to come and take away all the furniture from Yog's house. Yog becomes very angry. He tells those people to return all the things to where they took them from. Keep it there. I am the owner of this house. Then he goes to Shrunga, who is in the swimming pool, and smells Rikreepy upon seeing her. He can kill her by drowning her head in the water, causing Shrunga's body to start floating. After a short while, she gets down because she was just pretending, but after this incident, both of them discuss those questions during dinner. However, Yog ignores the food he prepared himself out of fear. She tests all the food first, saying, "I see no poison has been mixed in. It is absolutely safe." While eating, he asks her, "What did you do with Yog?" She responds, "Who is Yog?" He insists, "There is no use in lying. You came here with Yog, and when you left, you took her. I saw this in the car. There were blood stains in your room, and 2 towels are also missing. And she smells the beach booty in the bathroom." She replies with a lot of attitude, asking, "What did you do after seeing all this?" "You have only diascampoted as proof, which is not enough to prove me guilty. Even if you go to the police and tell the whole truth, you will be accused of destroying the evidence and keeping quiet for a year. I don't want this to happen to you. So why don't you consider selling this property of yours to me? Look, I don't know what your heart's attachment to this house is, but I have deep feelings connected to it. Until I came here, I was unaware of my true capabilities. This house made me confront myself. By the way, if you don't sell it, it doesn't matter. I will keep coming here to spend a month on the beach." Singa did not know that Yog had recorded all these things. Next morning, she gets lost in her thoughts when she sees Yog going somewhere in a hurry. She checks Yog's room and finds a small new mobile box in it. Along with that, Yon's laptop is also quite handy. Seeing this, she quickly understands the whole matter. On the other hand, Yon was standing on the road in front of the police station, thinking deeply about what she should really do and what the result of filing a police complaint would be. Only then will she sleep. She accidentally crashes her car into Yog's car, in which she herself gets injured, and Yog's condition worsens. Due to this, the police admit him to the hospital and take him there alive too. Somehow, Yog manages to escape from the hospital. When he comes home, he sees that Zinda is painting very comfortably, and she talks to him so casually as if there was no problem between them. She asks, "Have you brought a cab? If you had told me, I would have brought you in my luxury car. Look, I have taken out your bag from the car which had Daskum's photo and audio recording and given it as a fake one. Now there is no proof, so you can live without any worries." On this, Yon says that now that you have destroyed the proof, you need not be afraid, you can just go from here. She leaves. Yog clearly denies it, Then Yog goes to his friend Chai and asks him what should be done if a stubborn printer comes and is not ready to go back. Now Chai says that no matter how stubborn Yog is, if his time is over and a new printer comes, then he will have to vacate the house. Yog finds this advice to be right, and he selects the application of some new people. After that, a man arrives with his wife and children to celebrate their holidays, which surprises Senga. He doesn't even pick up his call, so the new come. The printer decides to call the police, and the officer who responds recognizes Natai's song, realizing that she had caused a car accident outside the police station. The new printer had evidence of the online booking, showing that Sunga had made the reservation by presenting a case. Consequently, she is required to vacate the guest house with all her belongings. However, instead of leaving, she chooses to stay in their private room, which causes trouble for all the girls. Despite attempts to turn her away, it doesn't make much difference. Eventually, she has to attend to the new guest's children. This causes a great deal of irritation for her because she really does not like kids at all. Despite this, she somehow manages to tolerate them. When the new guests finally start leaving, she takes a deep sigh of relief. However, to retrieve the keys of the mobile and to collect the clothes for laundry, including the tower, they had sent the lingerie man to handle it. Before Snuda could even figure out how to deal with the lingerie man, he starts misbehaving, which completely unsettles Snuda. Additionally, she was having a lot of difficulty in painting in the goal as well. The girl descends to Saranga and informs him that Auntie Honor mentioned there are numerous toothbrushes at the start of this room. She requests 2 brushes from that collection. She mistreats the boy, asserting that they are beneath her, and that she is consuming alcohol. She instructs him to call the police and then forcibly ejects him from the room. Following day, a group of teenagers seeks revenge for this incident. As they depart, they shatter the glass panes of the room where Ganga was staying by hurling stones and loudly chanting "Auntie, Auntie" while leaving. Zenga becomes extremely upset with this situation. The following day, a group of young boys call Zenga, complaining that the girl is not giving them the keys to the house. However, after she arrives, they discover that it was all a trick orchestrated by Zenga. Actually, he had asked for help from Officer Zonti. He said that he had paid Yonga in advance for 1 or 2 months in cash, but now Yonga does not pick up his calls. On top of that, Yonga keeps sending him new gifts, which is causing him problems. So the officer takes Zonti with Saranga and tells him, "Why are you troubling this Ablanari in this way?" Next, they have fun with Soy and his friend Sunga and leave from there at night. But the tower stops at Sunga, and at night, Sunga has dinner with Yunga. After that, she says to me in private, "Uncle, why don't you patch up with me?" He is a Suntai, thinking me to be his lover. He teases me a lot. I don't like him at all. If you behave well with me, then I will send him away from here. Then she starts speaking very harsh words to Yog, due to which Yog gets angry and raises his hand on Ganga and leaves from there. Hearing the voice, Yog gets angry and wants to teach him a lesson. Then hearing this, she stops Chinti by seducing her by kissing her. After a while, when he comes back, he sees that both of them are getting close to each other in his room. In anger, Dev starts hitting Swarntai. He had also called the police beforehand. He had complained against Swarntai, saying that he was harassing him by misusing his position. Because of this, Swarntai's senior officer advises him to stay away from yoga. However, he still takes a few days leave and goes to Sunkar. From there, he finds the bag in Yoga's room where he had hidden the money. In that bag, he discovers the dirty footage and audio. With this evidence, he reveals the whole matter. He understands that, so he gets scared and leaves from there. However, further down the road, he sees Snoopov leaving in his car. When he notices the bag in Sunasan's hands, she realizes that her secret has been discovered. That's why she decides to commit suicide by running him over with the car in the field. She calls him, and before she can explain her reason, he agrees to sell his gentle house. He asks for only a few days' time for this, which causes her to fall asleep. On the other hand, we observe Sangam's daughters. An additional pack informs us that on the night the girl was murdered by the thieves in her model, he had gone to the motel to play a video game. There, he witnessed the thief carrying the unconscious girl over his shoulder. The thief put her in his car and told him that he was a ghost, that he had neither seen nor heard anything. This frightened him greatly, causing him to flee from the scene. Subsequently, the suffering his family endured made him feel extremely guilty, filling him with a burning desire for revenge. He began feeling jealous of Fuel, and as he grew older, he devised a detailed plan to kill Fuel. He arranged for his dad's friend's mom, Job's mom, be admitted to the same hospital room where Fuel's mom was staying. He then targeted that area by placing bells on Fuel's mom's bed, so that whenever Fuel came to visit his mom, he would be able to shoot and kill him. Fuel's case had gained a lot of attention and was frequently discussed in the news. So I feared that my motel might end up like the View Hotel. Consequently, I decided to visit this motel. Extent of the case, he began to investigate the matter, and then he discovered that in the same room where the thieves had committed the murder, Ego's mother had taken her own life, and his father had lost his sanity. Many years had passed since this tragic incident, but he still felt as if it were the year 2001. His father now works in a restaurant, and his 11-year-old son lives with his aunt. He feels deep sorrow for Sandune and his family. He goes to check the mobile, but they mistake him for a policeman and arrest him. On that very same day, he encounters his mom. He goes to the hospital to meet Kiwal, and just before he could do anything, Hiro alerts him about the death of the thief. Because of this, he stops, and Hiro's aim also stops. However, the police are alerted by the sound of the gunshot. They go out to find the person who fired the shot. By then, Kiwal arrives at the hospital and kills Kiwal. While dying, he reveals that he is the same person whom you had asked to keep quiet. After this revelation, Kiwal manages to escape from there by jumping out of the window of the house. Then he brings back his fat and releases the team. He then contemplates suicide by shooting himself, but returns at the crucial moment to save Yoni's life. He confesses to her that he is not a policeman, but wanted to understand her pain. After this, Senga calls Yoon, and this time, he had done something significant. Upon learning Ego's story, he realizes that supporting the wrongdoer or remaining silent is not a solution. We have to give Sticky's punishment to those who do wrong. So, he captures Ego and sets out to kill this Ganga. After this, the story shifts to a day earlier because his friend Shahid was discharged from the hospital. He goes to his house to meet the team with the help of crutches, and there he encounters Somga. Seeing Somga's attitude, he understands that the person asking for a way to remove the rude guest is actually the rude guest. He asks Shakti to leave from there, but she gets very angry and behaves very rudely towards him. She starts talking to him and selects him. Somga loses her control, and first, she straps the screwed rubber on Che's neck and then snatches his crutches and hits him with the same stick, due to which Che gets badly injured. After this, Sunga messages Che's daughter from his phone and calls her home. On coming home, she sees the issue as it is and doesn't say anything to Janha. Janha talks to him while feeding him water, due to which in a short time, Sunga opens up to him that he must have talked to the dad of that girl. If I have done something bad, then she tells the issue that your dad and I are partners in crime. Actually, I had killed my stepson here and dissolved his body using chemicals. Your dad had helped me in cleaning up all the evidence. Now he has disappeared somewhere after promising to sell me this house. Ishu was fully aware of the significance of this house to her father. In fact, when her mother was diagnosed with cancer, they had constructed this house far away from the city. After her mother passed away, her dad transformed it into a guest house. However, since it serves as a cherished memento of her mother, he will never sell it. Ishu is undoubtedly being blackmailed. Then Snuda reveals that she had mixed sleeping pills in her food. She says, "You will soon become unconscious, and then with your help, I will call your dad and get this house registered in my name." Upon hearing this, Ishu quickly rushes out of the house. And with that, she launches an attack on this world. It seemed as if there was no one outside who could match her strength. She injures Ganga completely, leaving her in a dire state. But in the end, she measures the size of the issue in her stomach, carefully puts it in a bag, and hides it somewhere. Then, she calls Yu and brings him back with her. Yu wanted to kill her, but when he learns that she has destroyed not only his daughter but also their friendship, he is filled with rage. First of all, he gets Chae admitted to the hospital to ensure she receives proper care. Then, he goes to settle this score, determined to make things right. When he goes back to his village, a girl from Slow Village gives him an offer that if he wants to save his daughter's life, then he should leave her alive. I will leave from here forever and will never return. The officer begins calling the main team, which frightens Yogesh even more. Then, she agrees to return the money taken from the daughters of the youth in exchange for being let go and committing another crime. She takes Junga to the bank, and when she opens it, she is shocked because the bank was completely empty. Then, police surround her from all sides. Actually, the officer had been keeping a close eye on Junga. He had recently seen her shopping like crazy in the supermarket while she was in Beijing. She was buying a big bottle of Song, and then the laundryman also told him about the incident. So when Long Chai was coming back after getting him admitted to the hospital, Yumio told him the whole truth and said that if you don't arrest Song, I will kill him. While Yang was going home and engaging Yang in his talks, police were searching for the issue. Only after finding the issue, the police called Yang, which was a hint that she had been found. Now, you bring Songha and we will catch him red-handed. Upon discovering the truth, Songha begins to act irrationally. Yangmin rushes to the hospital, where he learns that the daughter was pregnant and had complications due to Sungha's typing error, putting her baby's life at risk. This news deeply saddens Yangmin. He feels responsible for his daughter's and his friend's predicament. While recounting the tale of human fear, Yangmin reassures that it is not their fault, but a punishment for someone else's actions. He then reveals that Sungha had sought his assistance in committing a crime. Now she has killed someone else too. After knowing this, the study memes interrogate Ganga. But she does not even utter the word "too" from her mouth. Actually, she was the spoiled daughter of a rich man. She knew that soon they will sell their head lawyer and get her released. And this is exactly what happened. There is an argument between Ganga and her husband regarding this. Even then, Ganga gets the cornfield inspected, without the help of the police, and from there, she finds a glass broken into 2 pieces by Officer Shanta. On the other hand, after being released, Zanga sets the laundry on fire because she had testified against the police force. Ganga really enjoys doing this a lot. Then she goes to the police's house to get her passport to flee the country. But at that moment, Ganga's husband arrives there with a gun in his hand to avenge his son's death. Actually, after marrying him, Sungha comes to know that Jasikani was married only so that Heen could receive motherly love. This revelation angers Sungha, and she got her husband Jace arrested for domestic abuse, sending him to jail. When he was eventually released, Sungha's father told him the entire truth. Now, even he was tired of covering up Sungha's actions. Sungha quickly calls her father to ask for help, and her father was looking at the photo on her laptop in which she was lying with him after committing the murder. Many photos were taken in this style. At this point, Yaon also arrives to kill Ganga, but he notices Ganga is very enthusiastic. Now Ganga decides to play another trick. She tells her husband Shri to kill them, saying, "Only then will I reveal where I have buried your son." After this, in anger, he shoots a bullet into his arm and then fires a second bullet into his stomach. He is about to kill him when the officer arrives and demands he throw away the weapon. Then, a man appears on the beach and claims that this man isn't doing anything wrong and there's no need to stop him. Despite this, he puts the gun down, allowing the officer to quickly grab the gun, shoot him, and start running away. But a shoe chases after him, shoots him, and kills him. The gun falls on the Siming flower, causing it to turn into blood. But Yog's dad helps her get rid of the recipe because he could truly understand her pain. After this, the main officer conducts a thorough investigation and discovers that the smell which killed Snuff was actually from the insects in the weed itself that killed the psychos. She meets with Yog and confronts him, but she realizes that something terrible had happened to her family, so she decides to close the case. Meanwhile, we see Yog and Che with the laundryman, who made coffee after the laundry was burnt, which caused him to fure. He had become very rich. The Ilongi daughter, Damak, and their grandchild had now left the bustling city and had come to reside with their sister in a quieter place. They had ceased the practice of lending out their property. The series concludes here on a joyful and happy note.